In our previous session, we ended up with verse 17 of Genesis 26, where Isaac packed up all of his belongings and all of his household and moved out of Gerar because the Philistines, or Philistines, whichever way you want to pronounce it, they stopped up all of his wells, filled them with earth, so that they were totally useless. But you know what amazed me? What Isaac did today. Let's read this and see. Genesis 26, verses 18 to 22. And Isaac dug again the wells of water, which they had dug in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them. That means filled them up, made them useless, after the death of Abraham. And he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. And Isaac's servants dug in the valley and found there a well of springing water. And the herdsmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, the water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. And they dug another well and strove for that also, and he called the name of it Sitnah. And he removed from thence, in verse 22, and dug another well, and for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rehoboth. And he said, for now the Lord has made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. You see, by Abimelech's own admission, he said of Isaac, get away from us, for thou art much mightier than we. That's in the last session. As we already said, instead of fighting from a position where he was able to, you realize that if Isaac had fought back, he would have been undefeated. Abimelech said, he's a much mightier man. Please get out of here. We don't want to see you anymore. Isaac retreated instead to keep the peace. In addition, he restored the wells that were filled up with earth by the Philistines and retained the names given them by Abraham. Folks, he restored the wells that were previously filled up as he was retreating. Unbelievable. I would call this really an honorable retreat. Instead of bringing out an ugly, greedy, and arrogant side, Isaac's wealth appeared to make him a wealthy philanthropist. By the way, the English word philanthropist means somebody who was generous in giving and sharing of his wealth. He was determined to leave behind suitable monuments to his father and leave behind a blessing to the Philistines, whether they wanted it or not. Folks, wow. When we've crossed people's paths and they were mean and cruel to us, when we retreat, do we leave a good taste in their mouth or a bad taste in their mouth? It's painful, isn't it? When the New Testament says, do not repay evil for evil. Oh, but that was what Isaac was like. Unbelievable. So as they advanced into the valley, as they retreated from Gerar, and they were digging, Isaac's servants unearthed a well of springing water. But no sooner than when it was discovered, the herdsmen from Gerar fought over it, claiming the water was theirs. So Isaac named this well Esek, meaning quarrel or contention. You know, the Philistines must have considered this a sign of weakness, really not realizing the might of Isaac's mighty household. You see, many people consider our act of kindness as an act of weakness. Sad, isn't it? Again, a well was dug, and the Philistines fought over that too. So the well was named Sitnah, meaning adversity or opposition or hatred. Do you realize that this same Hebrew word, from this word came the word Satan, and these men were really of diabolical spirit. They probably were demon possessed, envious beyond description, spiteful and malicious. Yes, the word Sitna has the same root as Satan, meaning the adversary. Do you see how Satan really was attacking the righteous mind and trying to prevent it from going ahead? Amazing, isn't it? Finally, Isaac and his servants persistent in digging even another well. Talk about persistence. It says he removed from thence and dug another well. And for that they did not strive. He traveled a little further from the Philistine border with hope to finally put a stop to all dispute and controversy for the future. Now you see, some great commentators, such as John Gill, Jameson, among others, claim that this last well was not fought over by the Philistine herdsmen because it was at such a distance from their border that they could not have the face to claim any right to it. You see, they gave a human explanation to it, but Isaac did not. Isaac had the presence of mind to put credit where credit was due. This is what it says. He called the name of that well Rehoboth, and he said, "For now the Lord hath made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land." Rehoboth means roomy or broad space. You see, Isaac recognized that it was God who made room for them. So how is it with you, dear reader, or dear listener? Because I'm reading from what I wrote. Are you wise enough to recognize the role God played in any of your hard-fought victories? Sometimes we don't recognize God when God was there all the time. So I'm going to give you a little treat. I found it fitting to close with the lyrics of a well-known song, sung by many different artists, but it was written by Mylon Lefebvre in 1963. You'll recognize it. It goes like this. Without him, I could do nothing. Without him, I'd surely fail. Without him, I would be drifting like a ship without a sail. Without him, I would be dying. Without him, I'd be enslaved. Without him, life would be hopeless. But with Jesus, thank God, I'm saved.